I have played the altars, about 45, 50 hours of this game. Shout out to 11-Bit Studios. They provided your boy with a code. It is nice when publishers give you the code more than enough time to really sink your teeth in and let the game, sit on you for a little bit. And that's what they did. They gave me about a week, week and a half to play this game. I did not beat the game, but I have an absurd amount of time in this game. And I feel like for the most part, people just want to know if it's fun. They want to know if they should get it. That's all they really want to know. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. What's going on, you guys? Gaming Ad here, coming at you for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the Altars. I played this on Steam. Do have a pretty beastly AMD build. I don't know what the performance like is on any other platform. But the first thing I want to really bring up is just my general consent on what the Altars was when it came up. I've been seeing this game get promoted for a while now, and I was always curious on exactly, was this game going to gravitate towards me? Was it going to be a game that I want to play? And the more I seen of the game, I was one intrigued, and another one kind of, confused on what type of gameplay this was. Is it going to be like a shooter resource collector? I saw some XCOM style stuff in here. And I have to honestly say that it was a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. They did an okay job showing this game. I think, some of the influencers showed it pretty well as well. And when it comes to the Altars, the story of the Altars is you're a character named Jane, and essentially you have been shipwrecked, or you've been wrecked on this planet, and your entire crew has passed away. And you have to get your ship up and running, and you have to get through this planet because the sun will burn you alive if you're able to do it. But there's a problem. You're only one person. You're not able to actually get this taken care of because you can't run a ship by yourself. So where does that come in? It comes in with the name of the game, the Altars. Your company has essentially found a way to clone people, but you need a certain material to do so, and you find that material. Now, the way I want to describe the cloning process is it's not like a direct clone of yourself. So consider yourself like your timeline. It's in the middle. It's the timeline that you yourself have. And essentially what you do is that machine will go and pick certain aspects of your life, and it will like split off. Kind of think like Marvel. You know how Marvel has like the golden line, and they're keeping just that golden line there? Think of that. So essentially you go back, some altars have a lot in common with you because they broke off later in your life. And then some altars have almost nothing in common with you because they're broke off at like as early as 18. So that's essentially what goes into the story. You're getting these different sets of people around. It is interesting to kind of argue with yourself on multiple aspects. None of the characters look alike. So I think, that is deliberate. And there are some characters, like I said, that you have a lot in common with. So when you are doing these arguments, it's a lot easier to really calm them down. And there's some characters that you just won't get along with at all. And it's crazy to talking about characters like they're other people. They're you. Just different timeline versions of you. Some are experts in being a tactician. Some are experts at, going in a greenhouse. Some are doctors. Some are scientists. And these are the ones that you want to really gravitate towards. I would say just a little bit of, preparing you. When you do have access to getting the altars, I would get your scientist as soon as possible so you can start doing the researching features of this game. So pretty much that's it what comes as a story. Essentially, you go from area to area. You want to find out why you stopped, and you want to find out exactly what you need to do to keep going. There's a lot of stuff in every area. There's a lot of exploration you need to do. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in this game. That's just a general concise. You are on a planet. You are trying to escape the sun, and you're going from area to area, and something is stopping you. Something is a reason you can't keep going, and you have to go out and figure it out and figure out exactly what you need to do to get that. Gameplay and the mechanics of the Altars, I believe it's what's going to make this game stand out to a lot of people. If I were to compare this game to another game, because I know a lot of people can really gravitate towards that statement when you're trying to figure out if you should play a game. Sometimes it's easier just to tell people, yo, this game's like this. Yo, this game's like that. I would actually say this is a mixture of XCOM and Death Stranding. I know some of you are like, what does that even mean? Death Stranding had a lot of good concepts for me, but I didn't like the mobility of Death Stranding. I felt like they attacked you too much and they penalized you too much for the way you moved around in the game. But I liked a lot of the other aspects of the resource gathering. I like stuff like that. It's just, to me, I don't want to get penalized just for walking. And I felt like they, hyper focused too much on that. This is some of the similarities. I wouldn't say it's exactly like Death Stranding, but from what I played, it feels similar to Death Stranding. And then you got XCOM. For those of you that have played XCOM, there's base building in XCOM, and you have to, manage your base building, your materials, what you go into. You have to manage what you do. And essentially on this game, like I said, you will only have a certain amount of time to get your ship ready, to figure out what's stopping you from moving on. And what does that take? That takes building up your base, getting resources from the area, because a lot of this game is just going to be exploration. You go on these certain maps, you're looking around everywhere. You need to find water, you need to find metal, you need to find all types of materials so you can bring it back to your ship with these little wire bungee things, and you're able to actually get these resources. The good thing about when it comes to the altars is when you get these other altars, you're able to actually assign them to do what you want to do. So some are better at, being a doctor. Some are better at getting some metal stuff. Some are better at running the machine shop. There's a lot of aspects when it goes to building your base. So for instance, if you're trying to do something specific, you could put people in certain situations because it's going to lead you to a better result in getting these people. I really enjoyed this. I think the base management of this game is definitely one of the most components of it. It's definitely one of the pillars. What I enjoy about it too is they don't penalize you too much for the base. They don't make you destroy stuff. You can build a bunch of stuff, and if you don't like the way it is, you can just rip that sucker out and put it exactly where you need it to be. And I respect that. I feel like this game, does enough to punish you, but doesn't go too far in terms of stuff like that. So exploration, I feel, is another pillar of this game. I feel like the exploration of this game has a lot of different aspects to it. Now, when you're walking around, obviously, you're going to need stuff. You can't just go anywhere you want to. You're going to need grappling hooks. You're going to need machines to break through rocks. And it's going to give you this new aspect to, sometimes you'll need a level 2, grappling hook, level 3 grappling hook. You have your level ups that you have to research in the base so you can do these things more efficiently. And all of it is built around exploring these areas. And these areas, they're dark, gritty. You feel a little bit of caution walking through them. There's hazards in the game. Sometimes you'll be walking through and there'll be these giant globs that will just explode if you get too close to them. Sometimes there will be areas in it where it affects the time. There's a lot of aspects because that is the biggest thing in this game is time. You have a certain amount of time, days, before the sun comes over to the section of the planet that you're on. So the point of the game is you need to figure out what's stopping you. You need to find a solution to it, which isn't always easy. Sometimes you have to do a variety of missions to find the solution. And then most of the time you will have to build it and you have to place it. And that can take time as well. So if you don't actually do the game in a good pattern, you'll end up resetting multiple days into the past, because essentially every time you rest it saves. So they pretty much have the entire game in saves of day at a time. So if you can't do something, you just go back to the loading screen and you load 10, 15 days in the past. Sure, you might lose a lot of progression, but that's what comes with this game. If you don't do what you're supposed to and you're not efficient with how you spend the time out of every day, you were going to have a bad time in this game. This game is not one of those games you just pick up. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing. There's a lot of puzzle stuff going on in this game. There's a lot of stuff that you can resolve with your altars. Sometimes your altars will be fighting with each other. And when you go talk to them, they'll give you different options that you can do. Sometimes you have to side with one altar or the other. Sometimes they'll be complaining if there's not a good enough accommodations to sleeping. Sometimes they'll complain they're not eating good enough. And you have the choice on How are you going to do to keep your alters happy, to keep your alternate personalities from killing you? Because they will. They will scream at you. They will get upset with you. I never had to the point where they will leave. I don't know if that's something that is possible in this game, but I did get to some interesting in-game scenes, and that's all I'm going to really say on that. So there is a lot of aspects to the alters that I will say that comes to this. Now we can go to the alter system a little bit more, specifically. So essentially, there is literally an alter screen, kind of like something like you would see on Sims. It tells you their emotions, tells you why they're upset. There's a lot of stuff going into this, and what I like about it is it's the hub that shows you everything on twos of what that alter is good at, what that alter is bad at. It tells you what they're doing that day, and it gives you a lot of information on exactly how you can make that alter feel better. Sometimes you can't make everyone happy, and I think you need to go into that game knowing that. Don't try to make everyone happy. There are certain things that you can do with the alters, and if kind of like a relationship system, and if you max them out, they'll give you unique perks, and I think that's really interesting. Like I said, you can have relationships with all your alters. Some of them are easier to talk to than others, depending on exactly what their goals are, what they want to do. They all have really specific personalities, though. Some are very big on working. Some are not big on working. There's a lot of aspects to this game that I think you guys would really enjoy. In terms of the visuals and the performance, I would say this is a very nice looking game. Once again, I'm playing on an AMD build on PC that is pretty beefy. So that is clearly going to affect this area. When it comes to like the performance, I didn't really have too many issues on PC. Now, I don't know what this is going to be running like on, consoles. I assume it's going to run similarly because normal time there's a lot more issues technically on the PC end than the console end. They usually optimize the console portions a little bit better. But I am kind of curious to see exactly what this game runs on everything. Like I said, it has a very, very dark, gritty graphic style, and I think you guys would enjoy that. Look, there's a lot to this game. I'm not going to sit there and say it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's amazing. It's a great game. What I really enjoyed about it was, just exactly I can tackle this game the way I want to. I can go around the map, do exactly what I want to do. But I will say that I know a lot of people are not going to like this about the game, but there is really no combat. This game is strictly about exploration, puzzle solving, and base management. If you are an adrenaline junkie and you only play Call of Duty every year, you might not enjoy this game. But I do think that these games are getting more and more popular. I think certain aspects of this definitely could be fixed. I feel, if you want to put some form of combat in here, I can understand to some degree, but I don't think we need every game to be just balls to the wall fighting all the time. I think we can do a good mixture of both, and that's just my opinion on the matter. Like I said, I understand if you guys are very big on combat. This game's not that. But if you want a good story narrative, something that has really good dialogue between characters, there's a lot of stuff that goes in the comms room on here, something that is fun to play gameplay wise, I think the Alters is for you. But once again, that goes from one person to another. This is one of those weird games where it's kind of hard to explain exactly if you would like a game like this. I personally enjoyed it. I think the Alters isn't just about surviving a hostile planet. It's about confronting who you are and who you could have been. And I think that's the biggest thing this does. That golden line and how you see all the timelines that this individual could have did kind of reflects on your personal experience. Where would you be if you made different decisions? Even if the pacing or repetitive may sometimes be a little bit iffy, obviously when you're going to anything when it comes to base collection or resource collection, it's going to get repetitive. But I think everything else in this game makes up for that. And it just feels like something you do on the side and not necessarily a chore. But I'm curious what you guys think. Was the Alter something that would appeal to you? I tried to keep this as much spoiler free as I possibly could. I don't know how much gameplay or anything I'm going to put in the background. Maybe I'll just put nothing but trailers, because I feel like that's something people are enjoying these days, where you're not guaranteeing to spoil anything for someone. I do think this is a good game. I think this is a game that people are going to really enjoy. It's just, you got to give it a chance. It is on Game Pass, and I think you guys should try it out. But tell me in the comment section below what you guys feel about it. I'm very curious your guys' opinion. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It's always appreciated. You can always sub to the channel. We make weekly content over here. Now, obviously, things are changing a little bit over here. I am implementing more types of content into my games. I'm doing more reviews. I'm talking more about third-party stuff. And I just want to do that because I enjoy talking about games in general. I still will talk about the Xbox stuff a lot. It's just I'm going to be incorporating more. You're not getting less content. You're just getting more of a variety of content. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm very curious your guys' opinion. And until next time, this is Gaming Addict. I'm out of here. Peace. I like the altars. You got to sue me.